If you are creating a lot of GarageBand projects, you may find you're using the same tracks, the same instruments, the same setup every time. And did you know that there is a quick way to set up a template that you can use when you start every track? Here's how we do it. Let's come in here to my GarageBand folder. I'm here in my iCloud Drive GarageBand, and I'm going to be in this. I've got all these different folders here for everything, but I'm going to create my template out here in this main area. So if we hit the Create Song button, you'd be pretty familiar with this. When you're starting a new song, you come in here and you start setting things up. So for me, what I normally have in a song, I've almost always got an acoustic guitar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to guitar, more sounds. Whoop, wrong one. I actually record an acoustic guitar. I got a bit, see, I fooled you there. We're going to come to this one, audio recorder and more sounds. We're going to go acoustic guitar, and I use the Nice Room as a default for my acoustic guitar. So I'm going to put this in here, and there it is. The Nice Room setting, it comes built in with some compression and some room sounds there, some reverb. It's got these plugins and EQ. There you go. Effect EQ, compressor, track reverb, and your EQ are all on by default. You can, of course, then edit these and add other things. So what we're doing here is we're setting up so that when we are creating a track, we don't have to do all of this work every time. So what we'll then do is that we want to start naming our tracks as we go. So if we slide out using that one, you can see here that we've now got all access to all of this stuff, including our track name. So let's tap on this one and let's go rename. And what we're going to do is delete out of this one, and we're going to call this one Acoustic Guitar 1. And we're going to do that. GarageBand has stopped. That's great, but it's still going. Anyone get weird errors sometimes? Yeah, that's just to show you that sometimes weird errors happen, and it seems to still be okay. But the first thing, okay, this is a good test. This reminded me that after you've created your first track, for the love of your deity of choice, please go out and save your track. So what we're going to do is we're going to tap on this button. It's going to take us out here. It's currently calling this My Song. Now, what I want us to do is tap in here. So just tap right on the words there, and we're going to rename this. So what we're going to call it is exclamation mark template. Why exclamation mark? Well, for those that have worked in files for a long time, you'll know that if you sort files alphabetically, this will go to the very top. So wherever we are, wherever I put this, whatever else is in there, this will always go first. Because you can see, and this is why I use like 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. For these, it's so that it can actually make sure that it's in the right order. Now you'll notice there that they're not actually, because they're ordered by date. But if we order by name, there you go. It puts them into that order. So now I know that this template file is in here all the time. Let's go back into our template. What I want to do now is I almost always have a second acoustic guitar. If not for just a second rhythm, then maybe for a lead. So I'm going to tap on this one and just hit duplicate. That gives me all the exact same settings as the first one. And now all I need to do is tap and hold. Tap there and then go rename. It wasn't tap and hold, it was just tap. Getting confused here. Acoustic guitar 2, and then there we go. GarageBand has been interrupted by another app again. Let's close all of our apps. So we're going to go back out of there. It is still seem to be working, but it's having puppies. It's because of what I said about not worrying about iOS 15 yet. It's like, you should try iOS 15, Pete. Let's go back into our template. Let's see. Hopefully it doesn't do this on every single one that we create. Right, now I'm going to want vocals, because I always want vocals. So we're going to tap here and we're going to go to vocals. We're going to grab this one, go to more sounds. Now my particular vocal that I like to use is either the radio ready or the lead vocals. We'll go radio ready for this one, because that's what I tend to use on my first one, mostly because it's got pitch control in case I want that. I'll always turn that off because that will create delay when I'm recording. So I've got radio ready with that turned off. Back to our track view. We come here, we tap again, we tap rename, and then we're going to call this one vocals, and then I'll put brackets lead. So you can continue on. Yeah, it's going to do it after every one. Isn't that great? So I need to turn off and back on again, clearly, because that's the universal fix for most things. So we've got that in there. I'll almost always use a drummer track for my metronome. So let's add, and we'll scroll across to drummer. And we'll tap on this one. It'll just give us our default, which is Kyle doing his half pipe thing. And then we'll grab that and we'll drag this up to the top. Now you can obviously change anything you like here. So any of the plugins and EQs that we put here. If I, for instance, always want to put FAC Maxima on here, all on my drums, on my drummer track, then I can build that into this project. So anything that you want to do, let's just say on my vocals, I always put on a different reverb. Let's just say I don't like this effect EQ, but instead I always want to have the FAC, giving Fred some love here, the FAC Altezza on my vocals. Well, then I can put that in. So anything you build into your template is going to stay in your template. The other things that it'll build in is if you, for instance, if you're like me and you almost always like to write in G major, then you might as well set your key to G major up front here. And my tempo, I'm always a little bit faster too. So I'm going to set my tempo to 120. And what you can actually do, you can obviously create yourself multiple templates. So if you do singer-songwriter tracks, like you might create a template like this, and then you might do a punk template, and then you might do a rock template. So you can set up multiple templates, but you can see why this is convenient, yeah? That every time you're creating a new track, you don't have to go and do all of this from scratch. Now, some people like doing it from scratch. That's cool, more power to you, but this could actually help out. So if we come back out here, we've now got our template there ready to go. So what I would do, so because I've got my ideas folder here, that's where I usually start my ideas. So I'm actually going to move this. I'm going to tap and drag this over into my ideas folder. There you go. And of course, it's going to be at the top there again because it's got that exclamation mark in front. Now, when I'm starting a new project, instead of hitting create song and coming here into my default new song, I'm going to use the template. But remember, I don't want to just change my actual template. So what do? Well, we need to duplicate. So we'll just tap and hold. We'll duplicate this out. And the other good part about this is we'll tap right there on the name. We can name it here now, Awesome New Track. We can name it now before we actually get started. So now I've got it down here, wherever it is, Awesome New Track. Template stays intact. We've already got the track named, which means that when we exit, we're not going to get the My Song problem. So this solves two problems. This gives you track templates to use in the future, and it means that all of your songs aren't going to be called My Song Blah. If anything, they'll just be called Template 1, Template 2, Template 3, if you forget to rename them. But if you get into that habit of, I'm starting a new song, let's give it a name and call it whatever it is, then we've got it there, we're good to go. We can start. We can start recording. Did that wake you up? Yeah, Kyle always wakes you up with his big crash. So there you go. A definite time saver, as Thomas Christ is saying here in the chat. Definitely a time saver if you are doing the same things, if you are using the same different tracks, the same instruments on every different track, then go ahead, set yourself up a template. You'll be happy you did.